Hello and welcome to another Plus One High School Sports Recap with Joey from The Item. We didn't do one last week. I don't even know why, but we're here this week. What's going on, man?
Hey, how we doing?
You know, it's first of the month. October is here, and we're like midway point of the season already.
Crazy. It's been a fun one, but ready for more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we had a couple games at Manning, so we're gonna start off. Well, let's start off with Thursday night because me and Mark we went to Saugus for the Tech Saugus High game, and that turned out to be an old school football game. If you like old school style football, that was definitely an old school game. The elements took control at some point in the game, and in a game where Tech did not pass the ball at all. And were able to win 3-0 thanks to their defense, which forced 6 turnovers.
It wasn't the most flawless, perfect win, but a win's a win nonetheless. They won it late off a field goal from the freshman, and a lot of turnovers. The weather, you're right, it just had the makings of that old school feel. A great venue in Saugus. I like covering games there a lot.
Yeah.
Coach Runner, he said after the game some local papers picked against him. I wonder which one he was talking about. But
he had a lot to say after the game.
And he called it maybe his best win of his career, actually. So Tech, when they played Saugus last year, they lost by multiple scores. So, the fact that they went into a different territory and won this time around was impressive.
We gotta give that freshman a lot of credit. That's back-to-back weeks. He's kicked in some important field goals. The week before against Monty Tech, the critical extra point to give him the 1-point win. And then this week, it's raining. When it was time for him to kick, the rain was coming down too. So that is not easy for him. And I believe freshman made the other turnover that sealed the game, that picked off the Saugus quarterback at the late in the fourth quarter when Saugus was marching too. They were in Tech territory, and I believe it was a freshman who picked off the quarterback, E.J. Morels. I'm not sure. I think he's a freshman, but he picked that off to pretty much seal the game for Tech. So it was a lot of freshmen. The freshmen for Lynn Tech were really stepped up in that game.
I tell you what, freshmen might have stolen the show, but Coach Runner made sure to really give a shout out to Eddie Lewis for stepping in at the quarterback spot, managing the game.
Yeah.
I know they didn't throw really at all.
No.
Not once.
No, I think they have 42 rushing attempts.
Exactly. But leadership, controlling the game, controlling the offense, the pace and everything.
Yeah.
He said he stepped right in and just was able to execute the running game at the quarterback spot, which is still important.
Yeah, and what the Tigers defense did, they didn't let the running back, Saugus' running back, break off a big long touchdown run. He broke off like 2 long runs, but they didn't let him break off the big ones because the way Saugus plays and the way they use their running back, it's just inevitable that he might break one, and if you miss a couple tackles, he's going to the end zone. And what they did, he got the yards, but they didn't let him make that big play that really could get a team going. So there was a lot of discipline on their defense.
Exactly. I mean, they prevented the big play, something we didn't see with the Patriots on Sunday. That's a different conversation. But I was talking about the big play and how the Patriots were struggling, but Tech's not, and I think it's a good win. 3-0, you got to respect that.
Very, very, very good win. And this is a team, they could easily be 3-0, but as Coach Runner said, they definitely let one get away from them in week 1 in Malden, but he said he likes the bounce back of how they've recovered the last 2 games, and each of the 3 games they've played, it's literally come down to 1 score. It's come down to 1 score. That's how you it builds character and helps you in the long run, because the rankings are going to start coming out soon, so they've got some good non-conference. Even losing to that game in Malden, it'll still help them with the points and all that.
Oh yeah, and I remember seeing your player of the game was pretty much Tech's defense, right?
Yeah.
Saugus knows how to score. They've got Rodriguez at the quarterback spot. They've got Cody Munafo at running back, who we were talking about. Saugus knows how to score.
Yeah.
So the fact that Tech shut him out on the road, very impressive.
Very, very, very impressive. We're gonna let class go. Tough going these first couple games, man. It looked like we was gonna have a very interesting game on Friday with Tech starts off second play of the game. We have a 92-yard touchdown from Booth to Pierre, and then a couple of series later, they get a turnover. They force a turnover on Peabody's first possession, and then a couple series later, we got a 80-yard, 79 or 80-yard touchdown pass from Booth to Washington. So we're like, okay, and then Peabody settled down, and then things momentum just swung.
Peabody came out a little tense, I thought, and Coach Mark Betancourt was telling me there isn't a worse way you can start a football game. Allow a big touchdown, turnover, allow another big touchdown. So Classical, and I tell you what, that was the same exact play they ran to end the game against Medford the week before.
Oh, yeah.
Booth to Pierre. So the fact that they're really connecting down the left sideline, unfortunately Booth went down later in the game, had to leave, but it looked like it would be an interesting one, and then Peabody just found its rhythm. They're hard-nosed. They know how to run the ball. Luke Maglione played fantastic at quarterback, 4 total touchdowns. So.
Yeah, him and Kyle Santos, they played really well. Santos went over 100 yards rushing, I believe. But even when Peabody got the momentum back, Classical had opportunities. I think there was one particular play that really ticked off Coach Vaughn, and then it was basically the same play they used on the scoring drive with the stop and go. But Coach Vaughn was really upset at the missed holding call. Which, if you look at the replay, it was a holding call right there that they didn't make, because that would have been another big play because he had the defender beat. So he was really upset about that. And then Classical had some moments when it was just 15-14 or 22-14 to get some scores. They just they drove, but then the drive stalled. And this is just the growing pains of a young team with a lot of guys getting big time varsity playing time for the first time. So for a lot of those guys on the offensive and defensive side of the game. So this is just some learning curves, some growing pains for that team.
And I'm not making excuses for Classical, but I do agree to a certain point that when Booth went down, Coach Vaughn did say the playbook got cut in half. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I thought Peabody played the cleaner game despite the sluggish start, and it was a hard one for Classical to get back into, and they were in it.
Yeah.
A second half touchdown would have really made things interesting.
Yeah.
But Peabody they've been there before.
Yeah, Peabody just at some point you gotta match them score for score, especially when they get going, because the Rams did have some good defensive series where they got them off the field, but then I think fatigue started kicking in, because they got a lot of guys playing both sides of the ball, so the fatigue started kicking in, and you kind of saw it with the touchdown run from Maglione. That pretty much sealed the game. That was it. So Classical, they got to try to bounce back. A couple guys went hurt. A couple guys went down in that game. Not sure the injury update yet, but I'm sure Coach Vaughn will give the update at some point before their game Thursday against Malden. But yeah, there's another opportunity for them. They're on the road for the first time this season. They're going against Malden. Malden has dropped their last 2 games, I believe. So it's 2 teams searching for wins, and and they need them.
A very winnable game. I'm not sure which of those players who unfortunately went down will be back in action by Thursday. That's a short turnaround.
Yeah.
But a very winnable game. I expect the usual suspects to play their roles. I expect Pierre to complete those short passes. He loves those little button hooks and those out routes short. And Tyron Hound always runs the ball hard. So I think it'll be a competitive game. I'd like to say I like Classical.
Yeah. Well, hey, can't go against the home team. They just got to slow down. They got to slow down Malden's running back, because that young man had over 300 yards rushing a couple weeks ago. So they're going to have to slow down. Probably the game of the evening. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll save that for last. But let's go St. Mary's coming off a bye, scoring. Did they score 59 points? 56 points? How many points they scored?
Oh, St. Mary's?
Yeah.
59.
59 points. Woo! Clicking on all cylinders. Looked like they didn't. It looked like they weren't even on a bye the way they played. They're just a nice solid road win on a Saturday afternoon for the Spartans. They stay 3-0, and they got a really good cathedral team coming in Manning on Friday. So that's a good win for them. Blow that team out. Get some guys in, get your main guys out, and, rest up so you can be fully in tune for this upcoming week's game.
Cathedral, Friday night, that's a very exciting game. I'm looking forward to being there. I think as for last Saturday, anytime you have 7 different players score touchdowns, that's a versatile offense. And, Tyler Guy, Koutsouflakis, Maxwell Parent. Parent does it all. Call him Matthew Slater, Marcus Smart for the Celtics, whatever you want to call him. He does a little bit of everything. He kicks, defense, touchdowns, whatever you need.
He had an interception that game too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 tackles. He's just a really a ball player.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to be on his A game against Cathedral because they got some dynamic players on their team, and they put some points up too themselves from what I've seen from them, from some of the games I've seen from them. So it definitely should be. That's probably gonna be the game of the week. But yeah, I think that one, Friday night at Manning, a conference game too. It's gonna be a good one for the folks that show up to Manning on Friday.
No, I'm excited. Yeah. I'll be at that one. I'm not sure if you are, but no, can't wait. And St. Mary's making noise again.
Yeah.
Because there was a point last year, right, where it was wasn't it around a 500 start or?
There was a point last year where they were just kind of similar to Costco. Guys were being sidelined with injuries, so they had a point last year where they were missing a lot of their guys would fall into injuries, but then they got them all back. So. But right now, everybody's healthy, so 3-0, good start for them.
And Rowan Merriman running very hard.
Yeah.
Him, Koutsouflakis, and Parent are quite the 3-headed monster back in the backfield, so
yeah,
impressed.
One of those things, they get that lead on you, might not, they might bleed the clock.
Yeah.
With the rotation of running backs. Kip fell. They dropped to Greater Lowell. Great performance from Eli Machado, from what I heard. But they just, it seemed like they just ran out of time in the team, and Greater Lowell just made one more play than them in that game. In a 37-30, it was one of those shootouts.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. And I tell you what, after week 1 against St. Mary's, I talked to Kip coach Jim Rabbit, and he was telling me, after Eli Machado in his first varsity start threw 3 interceptions, he just said, give it a few weeks and he's going to really adapt. He was noticing things on week 1 that didn't show up on the stat sheet, but he was starting to kind of recognize the defense as the game went on. Fast forward to last Friday, he throws for 2 touchdowns. He runs for, I think it was 70-something yards, and Coach Rabbit was really impressed with Eli Machado.
Yeah, I think we saw from the first game, it was kind of like those first game jitters, some nervousness being a starting quarterback for the first time in a game like that against a team that's right there. So yeah, he got those out there. But now they got to stack up the wins though. They got to stack up the wins because they, with this system, you need to win certain games. So they have to go on a nice streak right now for them to position themselves to get that postseason spot. A team that's really in good position right now is Lynn English Bulldogs. They are playing some good football right now. Coach McDonald has those guys playing. And Friday night was a very hard-fought victory for those guys. They went up against a team with the running back that gets the ball over 30 times a game. Gustavo, I think he had 39 carries for 190 yards, I believe. And the Bulldogs made the key plays in the fourth quarter to prevent them from winning, because it was still a one-score game for a while, and then the Bulldogs defense just got some key 4-down stops, turnover on downs, and one of the biggest plays came from a freshman, Aiden Soto, 47-yard pick six in the second quarter that kind of it was still a one-score game that gave the Bulldogs some momentum, and they got another score a couple series after that going into the half. So, man, that was a really exciting win for Lynn English.
Speaking of that series right before the half, how impressive was that?
Yeah.
I mean, how much time? 40 seconds? Around there? Under a minute, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to just cook together something in a few plays and find the end zone was so impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine. Last year, I'm not sure if they can do that. I think the talent this year is different, and that was really impressive. And they're so versatile, from Knowlton Samara to Jaden to everybody on that team is really playing well right now, and you see it on the power rankings.
Yeah.
And No, Lynn English. I'm excited for Thanksgiving.
They're excited for they're really focused too. The thing I was talking to Coach after the game, he said they're really focused. The guys are really focused. They're literally taking things day by day, not trying to like get ahead of themselves or anything. So
like me talking about Thanksgiving, but
right. But the thing he liked most was the heart they showed in that game because of what Greater Lawrence was doing in the ground game. They knew what was coming, and all they had to do was stop it. And the guy had that running back. He had some runs, but he didn't. They didn't let him try to take. They didn't let him beat them. Pretty much, they didn't let him beat them. They forced 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions. They forced. So this is turning out to be a good start for the season. 3-1 to start. They're ranked in the top 10 in their division. In the power rankings in their division. So Thursday they're going to Revere, a place which literally been a it's been a house of horrors for them. Revere High. Like I was telling you before, the last time they went out there, it wasn't great. But I think these guys are ready for the challenge.
Oh yeah, I think if there's any group that's ready for that challenge right now, and any head coach, I think it's Lynn English right now. Especially because when you hear good news about power rankings, I feel like it kind of makes you want to just sustain that success.
Yeah.
And on the road, it was no problem week 1. So I expect a good performance from English, and you're right, they're very focused.
Yeah, and also this is a group of players that really they haven't had this success. They haven't had this success. This senior group, they haven't really had this much success, and for them, just an opportunity to play in the playoffs, which is as we're looking at the bigger picture, it's there for them. So I'm sure that's why they're gonna go in this one and try to handle business in Revere, because they don't want no slip ups, and they want to just stay in that top 5 rank, so they could at least try to get a home game if they are fortunate enough to make the postseason this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think in general their theme has been the next game is the most important one.
Yeah.
Game by game, let's stay focused. And you're right. I mean, I think most people around the state would probably favor English Thursday, but you don't want to let that trap you.
Yeah, it's a trap game. It's a trap game because of the little history they have with playing against Revere, and they're balanced too. The thing I like about them, they're balanced. They're balanced. They have a good balance of run pass, and the guys seem to be all making plays. I believe they will be without Shane this Thursday though, because he got 2 unsportsmanlike penalties on Friday, which I think they should petition on one of them if they can, because actually both of those referees, I'm not gonna lie, those referees were their whistles were a little bit one-sided with some of those calls, especially the 2 unsportsmanlike penalty. The second one, you got 2 players talking trash to each other, the game's almost over, and a player waving to the other guy doesn't warrant an unsportsmanlike penalty. Like, come on now, like referees, man. Man.
I'm going to defer to you on this one.
Yeah.
I covered the classical game. Mark Avoyan with the item took your game. I don't know the context, so I believe you.
I talked to Shane after the game, and he told me the context of why he was waving goodbye to the player, and for that ref, who was literally standing right next to the guy that started the whole thing, only flags one player and not the person who was saying some crazy stuff to another player. Like, come on now, what are you doing? So they're lucky I don't do play-by-play for football, because man, the way I go at refs, it'd be ridiculous. You got your predictions coming out tomorrow?
They're going to come out in Thursday's paper this week.
Oh, Thursdays?
Since classical and English take the field Thursday night.
Yeah. I thought it comes out the day before. You're right.
No, it usually would be, but Thursday games, you're good. But no, excited. Itemlive.com for stories, 3 or 4 a day, and in the sports section, so we're having fun.
Yeah. Watch out. Y'all be safe in the streets. You know the parents be looking at those the coaches and parents be looking at those predictions, and they're ready to argue with you guys. One tried to argue with me. I was like, I don't make predictions because y'all too sensitive for my liking.
I don't mind it. It means they're captivated.
Reading.
They're reading, and we have fun with the predictions. I mean, why not?
Hey, man. Don't take it personal.
And I have some coaches who, say it motivates their guys. I like that.
It should.
And I have some coaches who say, like, I don't really blame you for picking the other team. So it's all in good fun.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just don't do it because I already get enough issues with people when I do certain stuff. So I'm like, I don't do predictions. Because if I really did, I'd upset some people. That's Joey B from the Item. Make sure you go to Item Live. Check out what they got up there. Check out all their stories. Make sure you read. Also, subscribe and all that good stuff. And yeah, we're out of here. +1.